Now, before I can actually make any kind of podcast episode for you guys, I want to explain one thing. Have you guys heard about Anchor? It's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain how. One, it's free. Two, there's just many tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. And it'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other things like iTunes and such. You can make more money from your podcast regardless on how much you have already. So it's like extra money. Hello, who doesn't like free money? And then, it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one spot. So whenever you can, just download the free Anchor app at, your iTunes store, your Apple store, or your Google Play store, or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thanks, y'all. Nachos and tacos, tacos and nachos. How is everybody doing this morning? I don't know what I'm doing yet. Okay, so sorry about the lateness. It's kind of like I was I had to get a couple of things done real quick. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so after so long, I don't know how long, but it's been so long. I finally say, welcome to Storytime with Izzii. Yay! That's me. We're doing a couple of things a little differently than we usually would, right? So today's story is Cinderella is evil. This is basically like the point of view of one of the stepsisters, Anna, however you say it. I'm gonna read chapters 1 and 2. So yes, I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. Um, okay. Well, we are very excited because yeah, I haven't gotten much sleep yet because people don't like to sit down and not do anything. LOL, JK, LMAO, calm down. So I'm gonna give it a few moments before I start. Um, yeah, before I start reading, just to let a couple of people come in and everything like that, and just chill out and visit through. If they really want to listen to story time with Kazuki. It's been a while, y'all. It's been a while. I can't tell you like how long it's been because I don't even know, but I do. I do know one thing. I'm back. Hey. Okay, so like the chapters really aren't that long. I'm just gonna explain it a little bit. Let me do it like this. Actually, why is it doing that to me? Okay, so it's a charming. So today's story or chapters they are is talking about It's like a charming twist to the story of Cinderella. Now everybody has seen the movie Cinderella, the original Cinderella that they played a long time ago from Disney, right? Well, this is told completely from the point of view of the ugly stepsister. Now, the ugly stepsister, I'm not sure um, what they actually look like because they have no pictures on this. But oh my god, I'm so excited to read this to you guys. All right, let me stop. I gotta stop. Okay. Hello, Romel Peters. Oh, oh, you're the your voice. I'm sorry. I know that was like totally random. My bad. My bad. If you heard me, if you heard. But actually, let me see something real quick. Just real quick. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, so the last time I actually did a story time with Izzii, right? That was hmm, the 19th of November. Now that's a long time compared to, what it could be right now. Like I have to do I'm catching up again. So, um I know you weren't here in the very beginning or for the very beginning of this talk, but this is gonna be story time with Izzii. This is Cinderella is evil. This is the point of view of the total stepsister, one of the ugly stepsisters, because I believe only one of them is like probably ugly, ugly, and then the other one is probably just like um, I don't know, like really mean and just grr. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm going to only read like chapters 1 and 2. They're not very long, so just bear with me, please. I beg of you. Well, I don't beg, but you know what I mean. You bear with me too. Lord have mercy. It took me a minute. It took me a while to come back in here and do the story time, and then I had to take care of a couple of things. But again, this is Storytime with Izzii. That's me. Um, Cinderella is evil. That is the story. I'm going to be reading chapters 1, 2, and this is an ebook that I found on an app called Free Books, by Jamie Campbell. So I really don't know this person, but the story is pretty interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. Thank you for joining today. So I'd have to say thank you very, very much. Okay. All right. Chapter 1. Okay. Well, I thought I had chapter 1. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get the thing. Oh, okay. Here you go. Mirrors have never been my friend. They told me the truth. They told me all my flaws and didn't mention anything positive about me. They didn't know I was a good person on the inside or that I was kind. They just showed me my pimples, my dark circles under my eyes, and my impossible to manage hair. That sounds like. Oh, sorry. Okay. I should have had them all covered, shown them they couldn't hurt me. Yeah, there you go. But I knew they could. I knew I was ugly. I had been told that my entire life. Yet I couldn't do anything about it. All I could do was hope I found a man to love me for who I was and not who my mother wanted me to be. The door to my room opened and grabbed my attention away from my horrid mirror. I quickly wiped at my eyes so nobody knew I had been crying to myself. They couldn't know. They couldn't see my weakness. Not in that world, at least. Good morning, Anna, my stepsister said in her usual sing-song voice. Oh, I'm sorry. Good morning, Anna. Something like that. What's good about it? I asked, never expecting an answer. I watched her, the one with the fancy name of Cinderella, as she restocked the kindling in my fireplace. She was dressed in an ugly gray dress, but still looked breathtakingly beautiful. I couldn't stand the way she was always so perfect. Everyone loved her. She's charming. Every time I looked at her, I couldn't help but think of my inadequacies. It was just torturous. To make it worse, I was sure she rubbed it in my face. At every chance she got, I was sure she told whoever would listen how horrible we were. She didn't like my family, my mother and my sister. She didn't want to be there with us, but wouldn't leave. Instead, she liked to remind us how horrible and ugly we were. Life had life had been that way ever since Cinderella and her father entered our lives. At first, it was exciting. Mother fell in love with him, a real lord. She doted on him. She thought she had a real shot of happiness forever. I had never seen her so happy. The wedding was magical. My mother wore this dress that shone like 1,000 diamonds. All three of his daughters were bridesmaids. It was probably the first time in my life that I actually felt beautiful. In the rose red dress, I couldn't have felt any different. I should have suspected I should have suspected Cinderella wasn't happy with the wedding that day. She didn't smile very much. She just clung to her father like we were taking him away or something. We weren't, of course, but she feared it anyway. My sister Zelly and I were actually excited about having a father again. He wouldn't replace our own that died many years ago, but he was a chance at a new beginning. I longed to have a father protect me from all the evil in the world or even just the bullies in town. We were going to be a happy family. Then he got sick. For the few months in between, it was blissful. My mother danced around darkest days. Or wait, nope, nope, nope. Don't listen. Don't listen. My mother danced around the manor house, singing and smiling to herself. She was full of hope and happiness. For a time, nobody dared to tease me because I would tell my stepfather on them. Everyone was happy, and it felt like it would last forever. But guess what? It didn't. My stepfather got sicker and sicker until he passed away. It was one of the darkest days of our family. My mother wailed at his passing, taking to her bed for the months afterwards. My sister and I were left to manage the house, despite the fact we didn't know what we were supposed to do. We didn't get told if we were doing it right, only yelled at if it was wrong. During that time, Cinderella barely spoke to us. I knew she was grieving too, probably more than any of us, so we left her alone. After a time, I thought it would be helpful if she helped out around the house, perhaps take her mind off her loss. She agreed, throwing herself into her duties. Before we knew it, our home settled into our new family. Yes, our home settled into our new family. Mother eventually left her bed, but it was only to boss us all around. Cinderella continues cleaning, even though I told her she didn't have to anymore. She liked to think we forced her into a life of slavery, but really, I know she only did it so that she didn't have to think of her father and experience the grief all over again. My mother tried to avoid Cinderella. She preferred not to be reminded of her husband. They did look remarkably alike. I never knew what Cinderella's mother looked like, but she was certainly the spitting image of her father. I couldn't help but think of my stepfather either when I saw her. She was a constant reminder of him. Even her mannerisms were the same. When she ate, when she smiled, when she spoke, everything was a flashback to the man who had changed our family forever. I was sure mother saw it too, which made her sad again. It was not a happy way to live. I waited until Cinderella finished with the fire before going down to breakfast. She didn't eat with us anymore, but not after my mother told her to chew differently. She took it as a personal attack on her, but we all knew it was only mother's way of trying to deal with the memories. She could have come back and eaten with us at any time, but she preferred to eat with the help now. Zelly and mother were already at the table when I arrived. I took my seat, looking at my breakfast laid out before me. There was barely anything on my plate, just a few tiny silver or slivers of meat and fruit. I said my good mornings, trying to be upbeat for the sake of the others. We ate in silence just like every other day in the house. Is there anything more to eat? I asked, still hungry for my measly meal. Surely we couldn't be so poor that we had to ration our food now, right? That's all you're getting, Mother snapped at me. I must have looked confused because she continued. You need to watch your weight if you're ever going to find a husband. Nobody likes a pudgy woman to hold on to their arm. Oh, okay. Sorry. I knew better than to speak back to her. She was always telling me what I should and should not do to find a husband. The rules would be a mile long if I wrote them all down. I would rather go hungry than suffer another one of her lectures. You're going to sulk now? Mother said to me when I didn't reply. No, of course not, Mother. I was just thinking how wise you were. Zelly snickered at me across the table, enjoying my torment. She was naturally thin and tall, although not a beauty in the traditional sense. Her plate of food was at least twice as large as mine. You should be more like your sister, Mother said, only making it sting all the more. She didn't just stab me. Oh no, she liked to twist the knife too. As I stared at her, I tried to think of how wonderful she was before Cinderella's father broke her heart. That was the mother I loved. I knew she was still in there somewhere. Yes, Mother. She seemed satisfied for now with my submission. So what are you going to waste your time on today? I wished she didn't ask. She never approved of my activities, no matter what I did. I thought I might go riding. The weather is beautiful today. No, you're not. But nothing. No daughter of mine is going riding like a commoner. You are a lady, and ladies do not ride horses.
She rolled her eyes at me. You will never find a husband if you insist on carrying on like this. Everything's everything always came down to finding a husband, like it was the most important thing in the world. Why would I want to go through the kind of pain she went through at the loss of not just one but two husbands? Perhaps I would stay a spinster for the rest of my life. Perhaps that wouldn't be a bad thing. At least I could do and eat whatever I liked. What do you suppose? Oh, sorry. What do you propose I do instead? I asked, trying to keep the sarcasm out of my voice. I genuinely wished to know what would please her. You can do your needlework. I nodded and excused myself from the table. Apparently, I had some very important needlework to do. Chapter 2. It's getting intense already. Like, I love it. I haven't read this story in a minute. Ow! I muttered as a needle pricked my finger yet again. For all the time I had spent doing needlework, still was not good at it. My pieces they never looked completed, only that they could have been done by a 5-year-old. Actually, a 5-year-old would probably do better. Much better. Out the window, I spotted Cinderella. She was in the vegetable garden picking out carrots. Mud was caked on the bottom of her dress and shoes. She never had to worry about being ladylike. She could do whatever she pleased on the estate. It was annoying and completely unfair. I wonder why. Azalea and I had to have rules, then so should she. But not Cinderella. No, she was too perfect. Anna, did you hear? Zelly burst through the door, stepping my head in her direction. I put the needlework down, glad of the interruption. What was I supposed to hear about? I asked, completely in the dark. Nobody told me anything, so it didn't surprise me. The king is putting on a ball. Every girl in the kingdom is invited. She twirled around in a circle with the thought of dancing all night in the palace. Oh, I replied. I was sure it wasn't the answer she was hoping for. I didn't want to go to a stupid ball where nobody would dance with me. All it would mean would be sore feet from standing around. Well, I'm not going. You have to. The king has invited us all. We cannot refuse his kind invitation. Zelly sat on the chair beside. There are rumors he's trying to find a wife for the prince. Can you imagine getting to dance with Prince Charming? It will be magical. I'm sure the prince won't find a wife just by dancing with all the girls in the kingdom. It's so sour. Fun. Can't you just be excited? She crossed her arms, already starting to sulk. I shall be excited when there is something to be excited about. This isn't it. Well, you have to go. Mother has ordered us to go. We are to go and be lovely and wonderful and find husbands. Zelly said defiantly. I shouldn't I shouldn't have been surprised. Of course Mother would see it as an opportunity to marry off her desperate daughters. Still, I didn't have to like it. Fine. Is Cinderella going? Every girl is invited. We both looked out the window at our stepsister. She wouldn't have a problem getting 20 marriage proposals if she tried. We had no choice. Or, I'm sorry, excuse me, we had no chance. I spent the next 4 days hearing every little detail about the ball that Mother had managed to find out. She actually left the house, which I hadn't seen her do in a long time. She spoke with all the other ladies, trying to find any details she could that would give us a head start on the other girls. I knew my mother meant well, but she didn't understand what it was like to attend those balls. She was always beautiful. She still was even though she was in her 40s now. People looked at me and they only saw the ugliness that was on the outside. They never got a chance to find out what I was really like on the inside. Unfortunately, no amount of makeup could hide my skin problems despite how much my mother caked on my face. It was humiliating. A ball at the King's was just another chance for others to look at me and pretend they didn't see me, or that one glance at me wouldn't put them off their meal. It would be a torturous evening. I could say that without even being able to see the future in a crystal ball. Yet our dresses arrived anyway, and the tailor, or hold on, Yet our dresses arrived anyway, and the tailor fit them to our bodies. Mine was too tight, as usual. Mother ordered them that way so I wouldn't overeat in the lead up or lead up. I wasn't fat. I would like that to be clear. But in her eyes I was. The thought only made me hungry for something sweet like a piece of cake. Ooh, or pie. Mmm, yummy. Cinderella also got fitted for a gown. It was not as fancy as Zelly's dress or mine, but it was still a wonderful butter yellow color. She would look good in anything. Even if she went to the ball in her house dress, she still would be what? Noticed. And she would be sure to let us know all about it. I didn't know what all the fuss was about about one prince. For one prince. I saw him once at the palace. Mother took us there for the winter feast celebrations. He sat on his throne, didn't talk to anybody, so it appeared he liked to sulk just as much as Zelly. Perhaps they would make a good couple. I know I certainly wouldn't be suited for him. If I were to marry, which apparently I had to because I didn't get a choice in the matter, I wanted a man that was strong and adventurous. I wanted a husband that was fun and didn't care about what his wife was wearing or how she must be ladylike at all times. I wanted a partner in crime, someone to enjoy life with, not someone who told me I must be something I was not. Prince Charming definitely didn't fall into that category. In fact, I was certain that all the men my mother had tried to introduce me to doesn't. Perhaps I was destined to spinsterhood. I hope you're not daydreaming again, Mother interrupted my thoughts, reminding me I was trying to sit still while while she fussed with my hair. Dreaming is for peasants. Now remind me what you must say to the prince. I wasn't exactly paying attention to her lecture. What was it I was supposed to say? Something about my stepfather? I must say that my stepfather was Lord Trevane and I am pleased to meet. She pulled my hair a bit harder than was necessary. Say he was your father? It will make it sound better. Lord Trevane was a friend of the king. He will think you're somebody special. You have to fool him in order to reel him in like a big fat fish. Yeah. Yes, Mother. Oh, my dear girl. Do you even want to please your mother? She sighed as I wondered what I had done wrong this time. Of course I do, but I fear nothing I do will please you. I searched her face in the mirror, trying to determine how the rest of the conversation would go. Half the time I expected her to give up on me and try harder with Zelly. She had a better chance with her. Mother finished with my last curl and took a step away, making sure my hair was sufficiently bound to the ball or for the ball tomorrow. You could please me by finding a husband tomorrow night. I turned around to face her. I was either being incredibly stupid or incredibly brave. I wasn't sure. Why is it so important that I find a husband? Do you not love me as I am? Do I need a man to make me lovable? She looked at me directly in the eyes with a love that I hadn't seen for a very long time. Perhaps the mother I knew wasn't completely lost to her grief. No, I just want you to find happiness, just like I did. A husband gives you comfort and security, something I fear I cannot offer you for much longer. What do you mean? A pit was forming in the bottom of my stomach. What was she talking about? I feared to hear the answer, and yet I needed to know at the same time. Our money is running out. She cast her eyes downwards, staring at her hand. This house is expensive to keep. We need no money, and I am too old to remarry. It is up to you and Zelly now. What about Cinderella? Can't she get married too? You know her loyalty was to her father. She doesn't care about this family like we do. We can't count on her to save us. I nodded, understanding. If the roles were reversed, I would probably have felt the same. Would it be so bad if we had to live in smaller accommodations? Mother looked horrified. I had my answer before she even needed to speak. We have Lord Trevane's memory to uphold. We will continue with the life we have grown accustomed to. I let it go. I knew I wouldn't be able to talk her around. We had lived in a much smaller house before her marriage. I'm sure we would be able to again. She squeezed my shoulder. Sleep well tonight, my girl, because tomorrow is a big day. I let her go without another word. At least I know, or I now understood why marriage was so important to her. Yet I still couldn't help but feel it was her dream and not mine. I didn't want to marry a man just for his money. It wasn't right, nor was it fair to him or me. Not that I should have been worried anyway. No man came near me. Our futures depended entirely on Zelly. That was chapter 1 and 2 of Cinderella's Evil. So, um, yeah, it's pretty. I really like it on. I like it already on the low low. Like I mean, what's not to like about this story? Like this story is completely opposite of what you expect, right? I believe so. So I'm just gonna. Ooh, yes. All right. So I'll probably come on here later and do chapters 3 and 4, or just finish off the rest of the thing because it's 6 chapters, right? I only did 1 and 2 now, so there's 3, 4, 5, and 6. 4 chapters left, so I don't know if you guys want to hear all 4 chapters and in one or whatnot. Just let me know, how you want it. I want to accommodate you guys with this story time with Izzii, especially with this story because this story is pretty heated and I kind of freaking like it. Just saying. Um, and then I do have what is it called? I have a couple other books or whatever they call it on here to that I can read too. One is like the 10 Tales of Classic Horror. Another one is Weirder Than Weird, which is 18 Bizarre Tales from a Disturbed Mind. Sounds interesting. But thank you guys for coming in to Storytime with Izzii. I know I haven't given it to you in a good while. So I hope you liked it and I hope you enjoyed the story because I'm really enjoying the story already. So yeah. But yeah, I'll come on here later and do another chapter or two, or just let me know what you guys want because I wanna I wanna you know do I wanna you know what I mean. I don't know. I don't even know what I mean. But that was Storytime with Izzy, you guys. That's me reading Cinderella's Evil, the first and second chapter of this ebook by Jamie Campbell, published in 2013. Mm. Until next time, you guys, signing out. Love you. Mwah. Much love, hugs, kisses, blessings, and respect. Buenos nachos, tacos, too. Hey. Yay. I had to reset this room. I had to reset the room, so I do apologize about that. I was gonna wait a couple of moments for somebody or for people to start, coming in and everything. So. Um. Okay, so I'm basically just gonna recap about what I read out of Cinderella's Evil yesterday, right? Cinderella is evil. So, Anna and Zelly, those are the two ugly stepsisters that came into Cinderella's life. Cinderella and her dad. It was just Cinderella and her dad. Everybody knows that part of the story of Cinderella. Cool. But Cinderella, the mom of Anna and Zelly, and then Zelly, like they feel like Cinderella's like just jealous of them all the time because it's just like she's so beautiful, and they're over here like just so ugly, and all. I'm just like I felt like Anna. I really do. I feel like Anna because with Anna, she said that she doesn't like looking at herself in the mirror. She'd rather have just covered all her mirrors, but her mom is forcing her and her other daughter, Zelly, to marry the prince, right? Cinderella, whatever. I don't care. Oh, oh, we have a hey Hakeem, hey Safakom. Oh, hey Hakeem. Good morning. Good morning.
Quick, to say hello.
How are you?
Um, Good, because I normally was before when we first met, I started reading with you. Oh, hold on. Every night, when we had our show, and so
Yeah.
I thought at least before you start reading, I'd come up and say hello and let you know that I'll be here with you in spirit and ear. I'll be
Yes.
lending my ear while I'm at the door here. And hey, our, our most popular, my favorite story or that we read together is still Socrates' publicist.
Yes, it's mine too.
And so
That
I
night,
tell
like our
people to be,
minds were being boggled.
yo, it was hilarious. And yeah, I love that because I talk to people about that all the time. You know what's really cool about it is that a lot of that stuff stuck with me from that story to the fact where even people who study philosophy and have like PhDs in philosophy, and even though the
Really?
story is like a fictional one about Socrates, it does bring out some interesting subjects like the caller waiting and messenger waiting. I'm sorry, messenger waiting, and how Jackie had messengers constantly coming in and out, and
Hmm.
the idea to make her look more important so she could get
And we were over here trying to
clients.
figure out what the heck the messenger waiting is supposed to be, but they're not telling us
Yeah,
anything.
I know. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to do a reading of that again at some point in time. So that's a
Sure.
that's a, that's a really
If
cool
you want
story.
to, I can do that. I can do that tonight.
Well, I'm at work right now, and I'm
Oh,
at the
never mind,
door.
never mind.
So
I was
yeah,
just joking. I was just joking.
I know it'll be a little disruptive, but yeah, for sure I want to do that at some point in time. So yes, sir. It's
Yes,
Latin
of
dance night.
course. He said, "Oh, he's at the door. Oh, he sounds so official. I just love
So
it. I
so
forgot.
anyway, anyway, I just wanted to call let you know that I'm here and I'll be listening, and that's it.
Gracias.
Um, and also, I heard you speaking the other night, and I always got your back. So if you ever need anything, just let me know, Sarah.
Oh, you heard it. Oh, yay.
Yeah,
I
I'd
was
be
hoping you
creeping.
could hear it too. I was just like, I have to, I have to bring that out because man, that was a special moment and I loved it. Thank you very, very much. Really, really.
Well, it's something that you're going through that's difficult, but you just need to know you're not alone, and you are loved, and you've got friends and family here on Wisdom. So that's it.
Hi. Aw,
All right,
don't make me cry. Don't make me cry.
do your best. I love you, little sister. I'll be
Love
listening.
you. Mwah.
Later.
I don't know if you can feel it or hear it.
I
I
can
gave you a
feel it.
hug too. A
Feel
lot.
the, I feel the love. Feel the
Yay.
love. All right.
Mm.
Okay. Talk to you
Yes.
later.
Thank you for coming up
All right.
here.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Thanks for reading.
I have a quick question though.
Yes. What's up?
Can you do your story time with Disney part?
Oh, yes. Yes.
I
Here we
missed
go.
it.
I'll open the slice of bread. You're listening to Storytime with Izzii,
That's
presented
me.
by Sarah Del Valle. Sarah and is it Rocco? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start again. Here we go. You're listening to Storytime with Izzii, presented by Sarah and Rocco. That's Sarah Del Valle. Cinderella is Evil from 2013. She'll be reading chapters 3 and 4 of the ebook by Jamie Campbell.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I loved it.
Yeah. All right.
I missed that. I missed it.
We'll be resuming as soon as you're ready.
Yes.
All right.
Yay. Oh my god.
All right. Later.
Later. I'll be here. That was, of course, the infamous Hakim Ali Bokas Alexander coming up here and doing the our little intro that we always used to do my story time with Izzii was going, ham, like every day. But I and with Anna and I was trying, forgot I lost my train of thought for a second. I got excited. Anna and Zelly, ugly stepsisters. I was saying that I feel like Anna because Anna doesn't want to. She doesn't really like being, looking at herself or thinking about herself because she thinks she's ugly. She says she's ugly every single day. She doesn't like looking in the mirrors. And you got Cinderella, who is just breathtakingly beautiful. Oh my god, that's what it said. And I think that's what she said about her in like hmm, the first chapter. No, the second chapter actually, when they were doing the gowns. But Anna and Zelly are finally going, they're getting ready for the ball. They got ready for the ball. And her, Anna, Zelly, and Cinderella and the mom, they're all going to the ball and everything like that. So now we're gonna see what's gonna happen. What's happening, Because I think the last thing that was said for the oh yes, it was just like, hold on. Yes. So she goes to sleep basically. So that's how it all finished off yesterday or this morning. I think it was this morning. I can't remember. God. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Promise. Promise. Technical difficulties. Okay, here we go. So, starting off with chapter 3. You'll have to do, Mother said as she stood and did a final check on my gown. I stared at myself in the mirror. The dress was a beautiful light green embellished with cream lace and ribbons. I've never worn anything that stunning. When I twirled around, the dress swung too, creating a wonderful swirl of color. I felt pretty and delicate. Perhaps for the first time in my life. Yeah. Still, I didn't want to go to the ball. But the dress did sweeten the inevitable just a tad bit. Don't spin around. You'll mess up your hair. Yes, Mother. She dressed Sally next. Her dress was a deep red, the color of fresh apples from the garden. Its lace and ribbons were black, making the red even bolder. With her hair in curls, Zelly looked very nice too. Mother had gone all out, trying her best to make us noticed. The last dress in the package was Cinderella's. I helped Mother pull it out, and we held it up to take in its beauty. Mother, what's happened to it? I exclaimed. Seeing the rips through the back of it, it looked like it had been dragged through a bed of muddy nails. I don't know. It must have been damaged when it was delivered. Oh, this is terrible. Mother agreed. It was such a tragedy seeing such a beautiful a beautiful butter yellow gown broken like that. It was heartbreaking, actually. The tailor's going to hear from me about this. We need this dress tonight. What did you do? The shriek came from behind. We all looked around, seeing Cinderella with her eyes wide open in horror. That was my dress! You ruined it! It wasn't us. The tailor had done something. They made a mistake or had a mistake. And had a mistake. Wait, I'm sorry. I read that part wrong. They made a mistake or had an accident, Mother said, trying to calm the girl down. You did this! Cinderella pointed directly at Mother, making it clear who she was accusing. You didn't want me to go to the ball and take the attention away from your little ugly princesses. Now I can't even go. How could you do this to me? I didn't. She was cut off as Cinderella stormed for the door. I hate you all. I hope you all die in a nasty and horrible way. Oh, Lord. Oh. It got a little intense, y'all. Got a little intense though. Nonsense. You will do no such thing. Oh, wait. No. The door slammed, closed behind her. I felt bad about her dress, but she didn't have to overreact like that. She could have my dress, Mother, I offered. I'm sure she'll have a better time than I will. Nonsense. You won't do such a thing right there. There are 100 dresses in her wardrobe that her father bought for her. She can wear any of them if she chooses. Should I go calm her down? Zelly asked. No, just let her cool off. With a shadow now cast over our preparations, we continued to put the finishing touches on our outfits. Mother put a jewel in my hair, which I thought was completely unnecessary. It will distract people from your face, she reasoned. I couldn't argue with her. Finally, we were ready for the ball. Well, physically anyway. I still didn't particularly want to go, but it's okay. I counted 29 times that my mother had reminded me to find a husband. Zelly got 31 reminders. We bustled down to the waiting coach. What about Cinderella? I asked as Zelly and I climbed in. Should we tell her we're leaving? I called up to her, but she didn't reply, Mother said. Just go and I'll send her when she's ready. Unless she's changed her mind and is continuing to sulk in her room anyway. Ready, ladies? Angus, the coachman, asked. Inly. I had. What do we have? Blood. Hey, Blood. Give me 1 second, okay? Let me finish this chapter real quick. I got you, though. I got you. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Silly. Again, I had to do it. Zelly replied. He flicked the reins and the horses started their trot up to the palace. The road was bumpy and seemingly too long. I felt like jumping out and fleeing into the woods. At least I could have a few moments of freedom before Mother sent out the hounds to search for me. The road was I just read that. The lecture and punishment probably wouldn't be worth those few moments though. So I stayed put and only exited when we reached the palace and the entrance to the ball. I had to admit, it did look quite amazing out there. The king certainly knew how to put on a party. Fairy lights were strung everywhere, creating even more stars than in the sky. Flowers tied with ribbons were everywhere, their delicious scent filling the air with magic. The grand ballroom was even nicer than outside. Oh, wait, no. Sorry. So sorry, y'all. Zelly and I walked up the stairs that were draped with red carpeting. Lord Finley greeted us at the door, bowing low. We both curtsied back and stepped inside. The grand ballroom was even nicer than outside. The chandeliers twinkled with the light of 1,000 suns, and the orchestra played a song that could only make feet feel like dancing. I feel like dancing right away. All right. Perhaps it wouldn't be so bad. I was actually glad to be there. Unfortunately, it only lasted for a mere second. Anna? You really think the prince will even look at you? The voice belonged to Lady Lilybeth, a girl I had known nearly my entire life. I'm just here to dance, I replied, finding it difficult to look her in the eyes. I know she would be smirking at my gall for believing I was good enough to be in the presence of Prince Charming. As if he'd want to dance with you. She giggled as if it was the funniest thing in the world. It wasn't, but I never expected anything else from her. I turned away, trying not to let her get to me. All the girls around her, Lilybeth's gaggle of girls, were laughing so hard it was difficult. I knew that would happen. I tried to tell Mother they teased me so, but she never listened to me anyway. Unfortunately, I walked directly into Teslin Montgomery, the one most expected to capture the prince's heart. Anna Trevane? My apologies, Teslin. I wasn't watching where I was going. I wanted to sink into the stone floor under her scrutiny. She was looking at me from head to foot. Any prettiness I felt before was long gone, or left in its place was a deep feeling of inadequacy. You should be more careful. You know, you scare people even if you suddenly appear before them. We all need to see someone like you coming so we can turn away. I didn't reply. I didn't have anything to say to her. Instead, I curtsied and started walking. Did it go louder than the music, or perhaps it was just echoing in my head? I wasn't sure. I headed for the food. At least I could have something to eat without criticism. I was famished after all. Mother hadn't let me eat all day, lest I wouldn't fit into my gown. I did. Just. I had to pass a line of boys to get to the food. I slowed slightly, just in case a miracle occurred and one would ask me to dance. How I wanted that so badly, more than anything in the world. I wanted to twirl on the dance floor, a gentleman glad to be on my arm, and prove to everyone I wasn't just ugly Anna. But silence only greeted me. I placed some food on a plate and found a wall to stand with my back to. Nobody could sneak up on me that way, and I was out of everyone else's way. Nobody would have to be confronted with my ugliness. Zelly joined me, having the same idea. It's beautiful here, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, it's very beautiful, actually. We stood in silent comfort for each other, both of us knowing how the other was feeling without even having to voice it. Oh my gosh, look, it's Cinderella. Zelly pointed to the door as she entered. Our stepsister had found another dress, this one a brilliant light blue. Her blonde hair was perfectly tied up in a bun, surrounded by a tiara covered with diamonds. I had never seen her more stunning, and apparently neither did she. Spotting us in the crowd, she gave both of us a look that could kill. She knew how beautiful she was and wanted to make sure we knew it too. I don't know how one look can convey so much, but it sure did. I felt like a pile of mud compared to her. I suddenly didn't want to be a wallflower any longer. I wanted to prove to everyone that I was good enough to be here, and even if I was just bluffing. Hold my plate, I said as I shoved the piece of ceramic into Sally's hands. Her mouth was too full of food to warn me to stop whatever I was planning. That was chapter 3, y'all. I'm very excited to see what chapter 4 has to say. Glad. If you want to come back up, you can. I'm so sorry. I just had to finish that real quick. But if you're good, I'll just keep on going for the next chapter real quick. I'm just excited to see what happens. I want to see if Anna gets her prince. Chapter 4. Yay! I barged through the crowd, making a beeline for Prince Charming. I may have no interest in the guy, but everyone else did. The king promised he would consider every lady in the kingdom. And wasn't I one of those ladies? I stood before him in all my green glory, trying to pretend I was confident and desirable. I was beyond caring what others thought by then. My prince. I curtsied low, making sure he could see all my assets and not focus on my face. Lady Anna, Charming replied. Glad you could make it. His words were kind, but his eyes were not. I quickly realized he was humoring me. Perhaps he would have preferred it if I had slunk away from him then and there, fearing I wasn't good enough to be his betrothed. But I wasn't going to, not when I had 100 eyes on me. It's a fine ball tonight. My compliments to the king. It'll do. I'm sure his heart was in the right place when he thought up of such a tripe scheme. He had a way of making everything seem so trivial and stupid with just a few words and scathing looks around the room. I felt silly for believing I could be good enough, or even wanted, by the prince. I yearned to shrink away more than ever. I glanced to my left and saw Cinderella. She was watching us with a smirk across her face, waiting for me to fail. I wanted so badly to prove her and everyone else wrong. I took a deep breath. Shall we dance, my prince? I put out my hand, waiting for it. A gentleman accepted a lady's request no matter what. But apparently Prince Charming was no gentleman. Instead of taking my hand, he laughed at me, keeping his own firmly by his side. I'm not dancing with you. My face burned with the humiliation. My life was practically over. To be turned down by the prince in front of everyone in the kingdom? I would never, ever be able to recover from that. Never. Never, never. I'm dancing with her, Prince Charming muttered as he pushed me aside. I turned around to see who he was talking about, already knowing deep inside my heart. I watched as he went directly to, guess who it was, y'all? Of course, Cinderella. He bowed low and asked her to dance. The look of happiness that washed over her face was sickening. A part of me wanted to tear them apart and tell my stepsister what a fiend he was. But would she listen to me? Absolutely not. More likely, she would blame me for trying to ruin her life. What were you thinking? At first, I thought the voice that might have been inside my head, but it was worse. Tessa was nudging me, amusement in her eyes. At least she found the humor in my annihilation. I could feel the tears starting to well in my eyes. I couldn't stay there a moment longer. I was a laughing stock. For a moment, I wondered what Mother would say when she found out. Someone would tell her everything. I knew that was a certainty. My feet started running for the door. Better to leave them to gossip and stab me in the back rather than watch them with my own eyes. They would hurt me either way. Outside, the air was cool. It would still be hours before Mother allowed us to leave, so I needed to find somewhere to hide out. Unfortunately, the breeze was too chilly to wait in the courtyard, but I couldn't go back inside either. Then I saw our coach, awaiting the return of its owners with all the others. I stormed over to it, opening the door and climbing inside. I was surprised to see I wasn't alone. Angus, our coachman, was settled inside. Instantly, he was alert. I'm so sorry, milady. I wasn't expecting you to return so soon. I will leave. Excuse me. I placed my hand over his arm to stop him. I didn't want him waiting outside in the cold. It would be a miserable wait. It was bad enough he had to pass the time in the coach. I was about to say couch. No, don't be silly, Angus. I would be grateful for the company. Sorry. He nodded and allowed himself to relax back into the purple velvet seat. We sat in a comfortable silence for a time, neither of us requiring conversation. When I wiped away at my tears, Angus noticed. I felt embarrassed all over again. Sorry. I apologized, not really knowing why, but feeling like I had to be. A beautiful woman like yourself shouldn't have a need for tears, Angus said softly. I turned to look at him, wondering if I had heard correctly. I am neither beautiful or a woman, Angus. I am merely an ugly girl. He shook his head side to side slowly. Now you are a liar. I couldn't help but smile. It was the kindest thing anyone had said to me in a long time. It, if if only if only everyone inside the ball was as nice as you, there would be no need for tears or lies. It seems to me that if they bring you tears, they are not worthy of your time. His green eyes sparkled with the glint of the moon high in the sky. Try telling my mother that. Oh, I wouldn't dare. She would have my tongue cut out. I nodded. I nodded in agreement. She probably would. I let the moments pass until I was certain my tears had dried up. Do you really think I'm beautiful? As beautiful as 1,000 rosebuds just ready to blossom in the springtime. The smile could not be torn from my lips. I settled into the seat and watched glimpses of the ball through the open doors. Without looking at Angus, for fear I may die of embarrassment, I mumbled, You're pretty wonderful yourself. He shuffled in the seat beside me. Lady Anna, What's going on? I cut him off, not meaning to be rude, as I saw movement on the steps of the palace. Cinderella ran from the ball, gripping her gown to stop herself falling down the stairs in her haste. She caught her foot on the step and lost her shoe. She looked back for a moment, just as Prince Charming appeared at the doorway to chase after her. She left her slipper there and started running as fast as she could down the path. I watched as the prince stood there, the clock overhead starting the slow chiming of midnight. He appeared confused, worried even. Good. He deserved to have bad karma thrown back at him. He walked down the steps and retrieved the shoe, looking at it like it was a precious possession. I had no idea what I had no idea what he wanted with a lady's slipper, but he took it back inside anyway. It was kind of creepy, really. I didn't know how Cinderella got to the ball, so I didn't know how she was going to get home. By the way she was running, she could probably have made it home in less time than the coach. Suddenly, the door to the coach burst open beside me and I jumped. I was too absorbed in the dramas going on outside that I didn't notice Mother had found my hiding place. Anna, what are you doing out here? Get back inside. You'll never find a husband in the coach, she scolded, grabbing my arm and leaving me no room to argue. I was dragged back inside the ball to relive my idea of hell for the second time. That is the end of chapter. Yeah, something, yo. My heart goes out to anime. It goes out to that. My heart goes out to anime. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, dang man, that's so sad. Like, why would you? Like, you didn't even give the woman enough time to argue back. Oh God. Lord have mercy. I'm so sorry. Damn, that's just like that that hit my soul down. Mm-mm-mm. You have a stepsister who's just mean and just to you, and then you got the mother who just won't let you not worry about not getting, or like, you know, just not seeing the signs between her and Angus and Anna and Angus. Man, you know what? I wish I could go into the story and literally just tell the mother, like, look, Angus and Anna want to be together. Anna and Angus, not Anna and Angus, Angus and Anna. Okay, thank you. But I can't do that, so it's okay. Yeah. But I do like the story. I'm not gonna lie. I like the story. The story is pretty darn interesting. Got 2 more chapters left, and it is done. And then I can go on to another book, which is most likely going to be Socrates' Man, I still remember the time that that I read that, and me and Hakeem were over here just trying to figure out, like, oh my God, like, what is going on here? Like, what is Messenger's Wait? We try to figure out what Messenger's Waiting was. Basically, she was just a pimp. That's all she was. She was a pimp. And when she realized that there was no more money, she was like, oh, I gotta go find me another hoe. I don't really think that's how it went, but I thought that was. Oh man. Well, man. So that was Storytime with Izzii and Rocco. The Cinderella is Evil, chapters 3 and 4, and the last 2 chapters, 5 and 6, will be either, depending on if I can actually fall asleep tonight or not. It'll either be tonight or it'll be tomorrow. So stay tuned, people. Stay tuned. I'm so excited. I want to know what happens. I never actually went past chapter 4. Not yet. I'm so sad. Okay. All right. But I do appreciate everybody coming in and listening, and you know, joining in and with my story time with Izzii. I'm trying to bring story time back for this side, because I know that Noble Ron has his stories, and I know that Graciela has her reading. A lot of people have their reading, and that's fine. I'm so happy for you guys. I'm so happy. I be listening. I do listen. Okay. I love it. I love every single thing. I love all your talks and stories and readings. So, yes. I'm so excited. I don't know what I'm so excited about, but I'm excited. So, oh yeah, because of the last two chapters of this ebook. But I want to give my shout outs to Mr. Noble Ron. Good morning. Buenos nachos tacos. How you do? Oop. Mike Wright. Mojo. Bloody. 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 I just like saying cool. Taryn Thompson. Dr. Robert James Goodman. Coach Norm. Lauren Ashley. That name sounds very familiar. Not in a bad way, I promise. Not in a bad way. It's a pretty name. I used to know Lauren actually. At the church I used to go to. Maybe it was school. I don't remember. Okay, I have to wait for my brain to come back to me again. So yeah, but it's where's what the heck just happened? Did I just? Oh God, sorry. This thing makes me a little upset sometimes. Whatever phone this is, UMX. Okay. So let me start this over. Thank you. Shout outs to Jermaine, Farmer Bay, Noble Ron, Mike Wright, Mojo, Blatty, Taryn Thompson, Dr. Robert James Goodman, Coach Norm, Lauren Ashley, Cecilia Grace, Gracia Amor, Matthew Burrows, Burris, Lindsay, Keisha Coy, Keisha Coy, Keisha Coy, Lionel Bailey, Nye or Nee, sorry. Soulpreneur. Oh, that's cool. I like the mix the combination of the word soulpreneur by Tiana, David Robert Farmery, Roy, voice of Tara, my bad, if it's that way. Deborah Barsha, Sarah Panay, Sci-Fi Com, and Hakim Ali Bokas Alexander. Yeah. Oh, he's back! Yay! and D Dayton.
Yo, what's up,
Yeah.
Sarah?
Morning.
So I just wanted to
Morning.
come back. I opened up with the first slice of bread, and I came back. The reading was awesome. It's a cool story.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's how many chapters are in this book?
6. So I have 2 more.
All right. So two more chapters. All right. Fantastic. I'm gonna close it out and then get back on the door.
Okay.
You've been listening to Storytime with Izzii, presented
That's
by
me.
Sarah Del Valle on the Wisdom app. Social Audio Inc. Reading Cinderella is Evil, 2013. She's reading chapters 3 and 4 of the ebook by Jamie Campbell. Tune in next time. When's the next time you're going to be reading, Sarah?
Um, I like I said earlier, because I'm really excited to see what happens next. So it's either gonna be later on tonight, because if I can't sleep, then I'm gonna probably just do it later on tonight, or just tomorrow. But it's coming. It's coming. Really
All
close.
right, then.
I cannot wait to see what happens if Angus and Anna get together.
Okay. Sorry about all the noise, but anyway, I'm gonna go. But I had a fun listening to your reading tonight. So I will talk to you soon, and I'll be looking out for your next reading.
Thank you.
Bye, Sarah. Later.
Later. Mwah.
Mwah.
Ah, I get excited. I get bubble gup like little guppies. I get a little guppy feel. Okay, I'm just ah. So, but yes. It will be either later on tonight, it'll be later on, or it'll be tomorrow. But it is coming between. It will not be anything further than tomorrow. So I promise you guys, because I cannot wait to find out what happens with Anna and Angus, and what happens with the mother, what happens with Zelly, what happens with. Well, we all know what happened with Cinderella. She ain't important in my. She's not that important right now. But thank you guys for coming up here. I appreciate, have much love, respect, and blessings to you guys. Till next time, peace out. Bye. Good morning. Good morning. Um, this is the last part of Cinderella's Evil that I'm going to be reading for you guys. Chapters 5 and 6. And yeah, hopefully this story comes out to be how I hope it would be, kind of thing. Because man, it was intense last time. So I'm gonna give it a few moments. Let everybody some people come in. But yeah. Yay. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Everywhere you go, take a look at and look. What do we have? Hey Alton, hey Bro. He's going. Yeah. It's gonna be the last two chapters of Cinderella is Evil. The story's been getting good so far. Since Anna, who the story is being read by from the point of view, is the point of view from Anna, which is one of the ugly stepsisters. And so far Cinderella has already left the ball. She's trying to figure out like what she's doing, and she's living life, living large. Now I'm trying to figure out if she's going to end up with Angus. Angus is the coachman. Coachman, he's the only one that's actually been sweet to her because nobody else likes her. Because apparently she's ugly. I'm just, I wish they had pictures. It'd be kind of cool. But I'm gonna do the chapters 5 and 6. And then yeah, rocking on. Hey Nova Ron. Hey, that rhymed. Perfect timing. Now, so far, like we've left it off yesterday, or I left it off yesterday with the mother catching her and or Anna finding or seeing Cinderella, watching Cinderella leave from the ball. The prince grabbing the slipper, taking it back inside, thinking it's kind. She said it's kind of weird or creepy, really. And then her mother finds her in the coach and drags her back inside. So that's where we're at. And so, yes, this is Storytime with Izzii, read by Sarah and Rocco, me and Rocco. And this is Cinderella is Evil, published in 2013 by Jamie Campbell. It's an ebook that I found on an app called Free Books. So let's get to it. I'm so excited. Chapter 5. I was dragged from my nightmare by someone shoving at me. For the for the few precious hours of sleep I managed to get, my mind had swirled with laughing faces from everyone in the town. Their taunts and teasing still echoed in my head, even when I was trying to awaken. Anna, get up this minute. It was Mother. She was standing by my bedside and insisting I follow her commands. Mother, what is it? I sat up in bed and rubbed my eyes, trying to make the world unblur. Prince Charming is here. He's visiting every house in the kingdom. Why would he do that? Now I knew it was the prince waking me from my slumber. I was even more annoyed by it. He's taking something. He's talking something about a shoe. Get up, make yourself presentable, and get downstairs. We can't leave him waiting. Mother threw a dress on the bed before leaving me with one last warning look. As much as I didn't want to get up or care about damn Prince Charming, I obeyed my orders. I quickly wriggled into my dress, ran a brush through my hair, and took one last look in the mirror. I wasn't exactly royal family worthy, but I would be. What I would do. I doubted any more time or effort. I doubted any more time or effort would have improved my appearance. I hurried down the stairs to see Mother and Zelly already waiting. The prince was with his valet, and he held the shoe tightly in his hands, like it might slip away from his grasp. I hurried down the stairs to see Mother and Zelly already. Wait, I just read that. Sorry, yeah. The memories from the previous night came tumbling back at seeing him, like the events were photographs in my mind. They flashed through it like lightning. The teasing, the prince embarrassing me. The way he pushed me aside to dance with Cinderella, the coach, my stepsister running away, and then the shoe. I knew immediately the slipper held by Prince Charming belonged to Cinderella. What I didn't know was why he was standing in our reception hall holding it with such veracity. This is all of us now, Mother prompted. I looked around. Cinderella wasn't anywhere in sight. I gave Mother a questioning look, and she just shrugged. She was probably sulking in her room like she normally did. We didn't insult the prince by telling him she wouldn't come down. The prince looked around as if just as suspicious as I was. Okay then. I fell in love with a woman last night, one that I danced with. But at the stroke of midnight she ran from the ball without giving me her name. All I have is a slipper that she dropped. I need to find her, so I'm going door to door until I try every maiden's foot in the kingdom. I must find my love. How romantic, Zelly swooned. Perhaps I am your fair maiden? I had to suppress a laugh. Zelly was completely wonderful in her own right, but her big foot would never fit inside that little delicate slipper. Anyone would be able to tell that just by looking at the thing. Oh, do try it on Zelly first, Mother commanded, trying not to sound too excited. I sat quietly and watched, waiting for the inevitable. The prince knelt to the floor in front of Zelly. She held her foot out as he slipped her toes into the shoe. Her toes were about all that would fit. I'm afraid it does not fit, the prince muttered. He shook the slipper back and turned to me. I momentarily panicked. Cinderella and I had the same size feet. We'd had shared shoes on more than one occasion back when we were all one big happy family. Don't be shy, Anna, Mother smiled. It wasn't a reassurance, it was an order. I put my foot out and waited, praying that I was wrong. Perhaps my feet would be swollen from the hours spent in uncomfortable shoes the previous night. I hoped it would be so. Prince Charming held my leg as he slipped on the shoe. It went on with ease, fitting perfectly. I quickly scrunched my foot, doing everything I could to make it appear like it didn't fit. Looks like it wasn't me, I said, taking my foot back before he could truly examine it. The prince stood, probably relieved it was neither one of us. It looked like it fit to me, Mother said as she grabbed the shoe from him. Before I knew it, she was bent over my foot and shoving the slipper back onto it. I wriggled my toes, trying to keep them from going inside the slipper. I writhed and twisted, doing everything to ensure it was obviously not a good fit. Unfortunately, the more I struggled, the more Mother tried. Suddenly, the fine threads holding the slipper together tore apart. The entire shoe fell into pieces. All she was left holding were rags of material. Oh, I am terribly sorry. Mother stood and handed back the few remnants. I guess it wasn't of good quality. The prince looked at what was now just a bundle of rags. I looked at my poor foot that was covered in red scratches from the attack. He was momentarily speechless before recovering. Undeterred, he continued like nothing had happened. There are no other ladies in the house? He looked around like one could just spring out of nowhere. For just a moment, I was about to tell him about Cinderella. After all, I knew it was her slipper he clutched so tightly. But then I remembered how awful he had been to me and how effortlessly he had humiliated me in front of the entire kingdom. I didn't want Cinderella to be with such a man. She deserved better. She deserved a kind and gentle man, not one who would be so easily hurt or who would so easily hurt another. Plus, she had run away from the ball as fast as her legs could take her. What had the prince done so to elicit such a horrifying reaction? Whatever he did to her, he would not do again. I would make certain of it. If Mother found out Cinderella was the owner of the slipper, she would force them together to save our family. The prince would be able to give us plenty of money to ensure our survival, but she would be nothing more than a sacrificial lamb. It would be far better for Cinderella and the rest of us to be poor than a miserable princess. I couldn't do it to her. That's all of us, I replied when no one else was willing to. The prince and his valet wished us a good morning and left us in peace. I breathed a sigh of relief he wasn't going to get his hands on my stepsister. I had saved her from a life of unhappiness. Mother dismissed us angrily, apparently upset that we weren't the ones who stole the prince's heart. It only solidified my resolve that I had done the right thing. Cinderella deserved to find the true owner of her heart, not be forced into a marriage of convenience. After having some breakfast, I returned to my room. The rain was starting to drizzle outside, canceling any of my plans to sneak away and do something interesting for a change. I picked up my needlework and got to sewing, thinking how pleased Mother would be. During the mid-morning, the door to my chamber opened. Cinderella stepped through. "Good morning, stepsister." I greeted her. She left. She let the few logs she was holding fall into my fireplace before sitting in the chair across from me. "Did you have a nice time at the ball last night?" she asked. I wanted to be snarky and tell her exactly what I thought of the ball, but for once she was being nice to me, so I decided against it. Perhaps she had not recognized me as the woman the prince had tortured before running to her. "It was fine. Did you?" Cinderella gasped. Obviously, I wasn't supposed to know she was there. So she had snuck out to go. I don't know why she bothered. Mother told her she should go. "I wasn't at the ball," she lied. "You and I both know you were. You danced with the prince and then lost your slipper when you ran away." Her eyes grew wide. It kind of made me happy to know I had caught her in a lie. Apparently, I was I was the all-seeing stepsister. "It's okay. I'm not going to tell anyone," I assured her. She visibly relaxed into her seat. "But why did you run away like that? Did the prince do something awful?" I completely expected to hear some horrendous tale of how Prince Charming had been anything but. So what I heard next took me completely by surprise. "Something awful? No, he can never do that. I love Prince Charming. He makes my tummy flutter, and it's like I can't even breathe when I think of how wonderful he is," she gushed. I wanted to vomit. "So why did you run away then?" "I had to. It's a long story." She shook her head and clammed up. I didn't really need to hear the explanation. I didn't want to be pulled into her dramas. I had enough of my own. "Do you really love the prince?" I asked, obviously missing some quality in him that only she saw. Her face was a picture of happiness with the memory of him. I felt a pang of jealousy of seeing her so happy from just a thought. "I love him with my entire heart. I never thought I could feel this way, but when I'm with him, it's like nothing else matters." "Prince Charming? We are talking about the same guy, right?" She nodded. One and the same, but it doesn't matter. It's not like I can ever be with him. I'm sure he found many other girls after I left. A noisy debate raged inside my head. I had the power to unite Cinderella with Prince Charming. All I had to do was tell her of his visit earlier that morning. I was the only one in the world that knew about them. The decision was purely mine. I wanted to protect my stepsister. I truly believed that Prince Charming was arrogant and couldn't love anyone more than himself. But perhaps I was wrong? Maybe it was just me that found him to be so. By trying to protect her, Was I just denying her the happiness she deserved? Did she deserve it? She had never gone out of her way to be kind to me, but perhaps I could have done more too. In so many ways, Cinderella was just as arrogant and sulky as the prince. Perhaps they deserved each other, making a perfect couple. All I knew was that it shouldn't be up to me. I shouldn't be the one deciding on two people's future happiness. It was time I lifted my burden. He didn't find anyone else after you left the ball, I said evenly, trying to keep my own emotions out of it. Prince Charming loves you too. He kept your slipper and has been trying to find you all morning. Seriously? She watched me nod in confirmation. She sat up straighter in her chair. I could practically hear her fastened heartbeat. What should I do? I wanted to tell her to forget about him, but I kept my tongue. Instead, I decided to do the right thing. Again, if we leave now, we can probably find him before nightfall. You'd do that for me? She clutched my arm with both of her hands. I couldn't back out now. Gather your things. Let's go get a prince. She grinned from ear to ear as she rushed away. I rolled my eyes. I hadn't seen anyone that happy since my mother's wedding day. Chapter 6. We're going into town, Mother. We won't be long, I said quickly as Cinderella and I crossed the foyer. We moved so swiftly she didn't get a chance to stop us. If she knew what we were up to, she would only ruin everything. Angus took us directly to the palace with haste. Angus is back. Adrenaline coursed through our blood. We had to get to the prince before he found another. He didn't have the slipper anymore. Mother had seen to that. But any number of ladies would have come forward and pretended they were Cinderella. The poor fool would probably fall for their ruse. The coach pulled up outside the castle, and Cinderella bustled out as Angus opened the door. She turned to face me. Are you coming? I shook my head. If I went to, I would probably end up kicking the prince where it would really hurt. No, you go. Good luck. She smiled before she turned and hurried away, holding her skirts so she wouldn't trip over them. I stayed in the coach. I had a good view of the castle foyer, and I didn't have to stand around awkwardly as the third wheel. Through the doorway, I could see Prince Charming as he spoke with my stepsister. Her hands waved around as she explained herself. Finally, she pulled her slipper from her purse. The prince took it from her, examining it in detail. It matched the one he had, at least before it fell into pieces anyway. All of a sudden, Prince Charming wrapped Cinderella in his arms. They kissed more passionately than was polite in public. I couldn't help but allow my lips to turn into a smile. They did make a good couple. Even I had to admit it. Love is wonderful, isn't it? Angus commented, watching from the side of the coach. I had forgotten he was there. I was too caught up in the show. It certainly is, I replied. Do you think they'll marry? Oh, I'm sure of it. Lady Anna, there's something I need to tell you, he started. I turned to face him, curious at his serious tone of voice. I didn't think I could take any more drama for one day. Then please do, Angus. You can tell me anything. It's just that, well, you see what? He took a deep breath as he hesitated. I love you. I have ever since I first saw you. You are truly the most beautiful, wonderful, extraordinary woman I have ever met. I was struck dumbfounded. Had he really spoken those words to me? About me? Nobody had nobody had ever attributed those words to me before. Only him. My heart soared, but not because of his compliments. My heart soared because I had only ever dreamed of him returning my feelings before. I had fallen in love with him when he arrived at our house for employment. I had just never dreamed he could love me back. I'm sorry if I have overstepped my boundaries, Lady Anna. Please forgive me. He turned to leave, but I grabbed his arm so he couldn't. I leapt out of the coach, falling right into his arms. The kiss we shared was 1,000 times more passionate than between Cinderella and Prince Charming. It was like fireworks had exploded over our heads, illuminating the kingdom for all to see. When Angus looked at me, I felt more beautiful in that moment than in my entire life combined. It was magical, wondrous, spectacular. I never wanted to forget that feeling. It was the best gift he could have ever given me. Run away with me, Angus said. I stood in his arms, never wanting to leave them. I knew just as much as he did that if we had returned home, Mother would never allow us to be together. She would send him away, and I would never see him again. Instead, I would be forced to marry someone else for convenience. I couldn't live like that, not when I felt alive for the first time in a very long time. It would be my pleasure to run away with you, I replied, truly meaning it. Mother would be fine. She would have a true princess in the family with Cinderella. Zelly would marry soon, too. It would only be a matter of time. They didn't need me any longer. I was free. Angus jumped up to the driver's platform of the coach, picking up the reins to begin our journey. You'd better get back inside if you wish me to steal you away. I looked at him, my heart leaping with joy. Then I looked inside the coach. I knew where my place was, and it wasn't inside. Instead, I climbed up on the platform with him. He laughed at my effort and the clumsy way I climbed into my dress. It wasn't made for such daring activities. Surely you would be more comfortable inside the coach? I laughed, feeling giddy with the excitement. I belong right here, next to you. I will never leave your side. Angus put his arm around my waist, pulling me closer. He held me there while he used his other hand to guide the horses along the cobblestone street. I put my head on his shoulder, feeling more happy and loved than I had ever felt before. We rode out of town that day and never returned. I sent my family a letter explaining everything and why I made the decision I did. I didn't leave a reply address, so I don't know if they ever truly understood my actions. Angus and I found a little cottage to live in after we married in a tiny chapel at midnight. We had 4 children, each one as happy and chubby as the next. I never had to spend another second worrying about finding a husband that would love me. I knew I had found him already. I heard Cinderella went on to marry Prince Charming, just like I had predicted. I was happy for her. I only hoped she had found the kind of happiness her father had shared with my mother. Everyone in the world deserves to find that kind of love. Zelly found a wonderful lord soon after. They met at the royal wedding and instantly fell in love. She was the last sister to marry, but I'm sure her marriage celebrations would have rivaled our stepsisters. I plan to reunite with her soon so our children can play together and get to know their cousins. Mother never remarried, her heart too broken by Cinderella's father. Her grandchildren keep her very busy, and I've heard she spends much time at the palace annoying all the ladies in waiting. She's probably trying to find them all a husband. So, that was my story. I know Cinderella would tell it differently. She always was a drama queen that liked to be the hero in her own tales. But everything I have spoken was the truth. Believe what you will. And whatever you do, I hope you have a happily ever after. I know I did. The end. Oh my god. Okay, so they were together. They got together. They married. Y'all, they got together and they married. Oh my god. Oh god. Yay. I'm so happy. I was really hoping they would be together too. Oh my god, my heart is just so proud. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her, y'all. I really am. All right, I'm not gonna get emotional. I'm not gonna get emotional. Okay. But yeah. So, what's your happy ending, y'all? Did you have your happy ending yet? Like, have you found your prince or princess? Have you found your queen or king? It's an amazing feeling. I think I'm trying to. I'm hoping to see where we'll go. Until then, I have my prince. So, oh my God, that was just so beautiful. That was such a beautiful story. I kind of like that one. I kind of, I see in my head, I like that story better than the actual Cinderella story. Because, Cinderella has been remade many, many times, many different ways. You had the Roger and Hammerstein, which is one of my faves. Like, I have to say, the Roger Hammerstein and Hammerstein is my favorite. And my two favorite songs is like, Impossible with Brandy and Whitney Houston, and uh my like the little corner, my own little corner song by Brandy. And when I see that one, I mean, her two stepsisters, yes, they were, all of them were evil to her in the movies, but yet from this point of view, from her point of view, from a different point of view of a stepsister, the stepsister that had lived with her and, you know, had been married into the family, like her family. It's just, oh my God. And then the mom became such a wonderful grandparent. Like, what in the world is this? Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Enough emotions. Enough emotions. Oh man. I appreciate you guys coming in, listening in with me. Um, Thank you to John Busy, Nancy Energy Lady, Chris, Melanie, Gabby, Bridging Psychology and Spirituality, Anthony Forrester, Dio, the beautiful founder and creator of Wisdom. Welcome, welcome, ma'am. Welcome. Graciela Moore, Cecilia Grace, Ali, Noble Ron, and Alton Davis. You guys have been an awesome audience, and I love you guys very, very much. Until next time, you have come into Storytime with Izzii, read by Sarah and Rocco. This was Cinderella is Evil, last two chapters, 5 and 6. Thank you. And this is me signing off. Love you guys. Much love, respect, and blessings.